Is it official?
Yes. So I have the LLC now. I guess I gotta wait to get the IN number. It says it right at the top. I have to wait for a certain number, I guess, when they get back to me. But I did pay for it already. It's already been submitted, so it's a waiting game, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, depending on the state, probably if you did it online, might be faster, even a few days, but even like a week or so to get the official documents back. But
Okay.
once you get those official filings back from the Secretary of the State, then you can go to the IRS's website and submit for the EIN.
Okay.
Good stuff. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you.
What's
It's
the
actually
official
a lot
name?
more stressing. It's a lot more simpler. I stressed it out so much. I'm like, I'm never gonna get this done, and actually did it. I was like, okay, it really wasn't that bad. Like, come on.
Yeah, and that's going to be your journey the whole way. Is I don't know how to do it. I'm overwhelmed. And then once you actually get on board, and Jordan will be able to tell you this too. Once you realize that there's a problem that you got to solve, then you solve your own problem. And you're like, that actually wasn't as bad as I thought usually.
Okay.
So, yeah, Jordan, Lewis here just officially launched his LLC last night. Oh, you're muted, buddy. I can't hear you.
Congratulations. Congrats.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, feels good.
Yeah, he's got an interesting one. If you don't mind talking about it, Lewis, it's an
Yeah.
interesting business
So
idea.
I started this business idea where I met somebody in El Paso, Texas, right before I started to retire with the military, with the army. This gentleman who was an amputee. Yeah, his right leg was amputated, and his half of his right arm was also amputated. But he had this nice, real big truck where he was actually pulling this big machine in a trailer. And I had to go over just to figure out what it was. But he was actually just pulling up bins to the back of his trailer, and this machine would pick up this two bins, the recycling bin that you have at your home and your green your red one and your green recycling bin. It would pick them up, power wash them for you, sanitize them for you, bring it back down for you, and then all you do is push them right back up to the curb. um, and I was interested in it because I do have an injured right arm that doesn't let me do a lot. I'm still working on it. For about a year and a half, I've been working on it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna see if that business is out here in Massachusetts, which they are, but they're not very big with the HOA or any of what is the industrial companies. So I'm like, I'm interested in that. So yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same thing where I do like a niche business. So I mean, yeah, like
Okay.
once you find that niche, you can get in. You know, that's
Okay.
good. Have you started talking to clients yet, or are you just organizing your business now?
So no, so I already started talking to clients that downtown, and a lot of a lot of residential areas where people can start renting their own like spaces in downtown, and they're
Hmm.
all those businesses have to have these bins because they can't put out those big trash
Yeah.
bins that those big containers. They can't
Yep.
do that, so the city's pushing for them to have these bins. So I already spoke to two different businesses, and it's not written down. So that's what I'm going to try to go back for this week to, hey, listen, once I start this, let me be your first clientele, or you guys can be my first clientele, and I'll give you guys a discount. And they're all for it.
Yeah, Lewis brought up a good point when I spoke to him yesterday about and I see the same thing in the self storage industry are like rodent problems, right? So those businesses, those HOAs or whatever, they don't want rodents. So if they could keep these garbage cans cleaner, it would help keep them away, which helps their customer service rates
Correct.
improve, and everybody's happier. So there's an incentive for them to allow him to go in there and market to these people and get in front of them. So yeah,
Especially if you're the first one to talk to them about it. You know.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I actually wanted to kick this one off by sharing just some stuff that I've been doing over the last couple of days for my own like consulting business and trying to get the word out there. So I don't know if many of you know, but I've launched 8 companies in the last 21 plus years. And back in December to January, I sold one of my businesses, and I wanted to focus more on my consulting business and start to grow that. So I just decided last month that I'm going to start documenting everything, like on YouTube. I just started a YouTube channel. I have like no followers there right now for the most part, but I'm going to start documenting my journey to get from 0 up to 6 figures, and maybe even 7 figures would be like a stretch goal for me for just like a one-man operation. And one of the things I'm doing right now is just trying to take content, to be able to take even stuff like this. So, like, I record these things, guys. And if for whatever reason, if you don't want any of your information like put out in any of my social posts, you don't even have to say it here. Just send me a direct message and say, hey, just don't share my, anything I say on here on social. And I'm happy to just edit it out. That's fine. But what I'm doing is I'm taking longer form content like this, breaking up into short form content and blasting it out there on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts, and on other things. And I'm starting to try to understand, like, how do I get in front of my ideal customer more? Because I do want to start driving more small business traffic to the Skool platform here so they can, utilize this. So I'm still tweaking, obviously, the platform itself. I want to see, what's working for people, what's not working for people. Where else can I give assistance to where the platform itself is more valuable to you guys, right? That's my ultimate goal. So I came across a few things here, and I just wanted I'm just going to share my screen. I'll share. I put everything out there for you guys that watch me do like my how to build business credit. It was literally my own company and my own personal credit scores I use there as the example. And I screenshot everything, like my journey over 4 months going from 0 credit to excellent credit. So I'm happy to do the same thing as I grow my social media following and how I do it and what softwares I use. I'm totally transparent. So I kind of, from my time in the Army, I lead by example. I'm the boots on the ground kind of leader. So I don't do something if I don't believe in it. So that's kind of just how I run things. So let me just share my screen here, and I want to show you guys a couple of things that I've been working on. So I'm actually going to start on just YouTube itself and how important it is to, we all, in small business, we all have to interact with customers. We have to get in front of customers, right? And it's important to not only focus on your own services, it's actually more important to focus on your customers and what your customers' needs are. And I know we talk about pain points and all that stuff and understanding their language, but I just want to show you like how important it is to change the focus from being on you to being on them. And if you haven't read the book, this is probably the 3rd or 4th time that I've read it right now, but like How to Win Friends and Influence People, it's an old school book and it's outdated. Like the terminology is kind of outdated, but it still holds true today. Get the other people talking about them. And it doesn't even matter what you do at that point. As long as they feel comfortable talking about them, they're more apt to trust you and use your services. So in this one little video I put here, I put it out there. It was out there for a couple of days. It had minimal hits, kind of like some of my smaller ones where they probably only get like 80 to 100 or so hits. And here's the title. It says, "Can you buy a franchise business under 200K?" Right? And a little description here. Nothing special. But the interesting part is when you look at the analytics, you see I was really flat here, like right around 70 views, 80 views here the first couple days, really, really nothing, right? And then I changed one word in my title. I changed it from, I first had it, "Can I buy a franchise business under 200K?" And I got just very mediocre results, right? As soon as I changed the word "I" to "you," this is what happened, this hockey stick. And over the last day, it's like quadrupled, almost 5x'd in views. So it just shows like how much, if you change the messaging to relate to your customer, how much of an impact it can have. Now, granted, this channel, like my YouTube channel, again, I have 4 freaking followers, right? But I'm getting views and hits of hundreds or even thousands in some cases of some of these videos. Like one of these here, see, Jordan, you're on a couple of these. And if you want, Jordan, too, I could tag you in some of this stuff if you want to use it for any of your social stuff, if you want, whatever.
That's one place I've been slack because I haven't done socials yet.
But I want to show you one in particular, this one here. And this really gets around instead of just using generic words like we help, and really weak words, to use more dynamic verbs out there. There's a really good book I'm reading now. I've shared it before. But I'll do a wrap up on it later. But if you use more dynamic words, like in this one, the shocking truth, like almost think of like those tabloid headline type things, right? The shocking truth behind business betrayal. And this was a real world example. This was a business partner of mine and something that happened to him. In just a 30-second short, this one got like 1,800 views in it. And really, it was just about the title and grabbing him with the title and then just telling him the story about what happened. And this one just blew up because, again, I just used kind of a little bit more descriptive, something that would actually get someone to say, let me take a look at that, right? That little clickbait, that little hook just to get them in there, right? So as you're doing stuff like this, make sure that make sure that you're using the proper terminology, that it's not weak, that it's focused on your customer, that it's the things that they want. And one thing I want to say about like this one, so I did the analytics and I'm like, why did this one just blow up all of a sudden? Like it couldn't have just been the title itself, right? Like it had to have been something else because people were watching it 3, 4, 5, 6 times. They were sharing it, they were liking it. And that's not normal for some of my content. My content doesn't get that sort of engagement right now. I'm still, I'm working on it. I'm working on the videography of it, working on my delivery, working on my hooks, working on my thumbnails. Like I literally just started this stuff last month. But, the interesting thing, when I dug into the analytics and it actually showed me like where my audience was, an interesting thing happened. My biggest viewership, I don't know if it was in here, but there were some terms and titles that came up. So this thing came up from the Fantasy Premier League, the FPL rather, Fantasy Premier League. It's like England's version of like our fantasy football like draft. So it's like people just going on there saying their picks and whatever the case. And then it made me think like, I think I'm missing I think I'm missing a customer segment of mine, right? Because about 4 to 6% of just people out there are small business owners, just in the population, right? So in any sub demographic that you have, you're probably going to have about that same 4 to 6% population that would be a small business owner. Now, all these guys, they're all gamblers. They all bet on these sports like fantasy type things. And then it made me think, I'm like, wow, if I could get in front of that audience, this is the type of people where they think a little bit differently. They're a little bit more risk adverse, maybe not averse, but they're more willing to take risk, put their money up against something to potentially make more, right? So that they're more willing to part with their money easier than other people. They think a little bit differently. They understand, hey, maybe I'm willing to spend a little bit more or take a risk to get a bigger return. And it just got me thinking, like, if I could get in front of that sort of mentality and customer, I could potentially grow my sales a lot faster because it would be easier for them to separate their money. They're already doing it in other areas, really easy. So as long as they see value in it, if they see an opportunity where they could potentially, get an inside scoop to make their business more profitable, then they would probably take it. So that's something that I'm just thinking about. So how I'm thinking to myself, like, how do I get in front of these people, right? Like how do I position my business consulting company in front of that type of personality that's a small business owner? So now I'm coming up with ideas on how to do that and how I can actually put my content in front of them and test it out to see if that's a demographic. Because obviously, based on the results when I dug into all this stuff, and again, I keep pointing over to my second screen here, but what you're looking at there on the screen, this is something that I think that, if I could get in front of that market, I think I'd have a much, much higher return rate on my money if I could get in front of them. Instead of, closing 3 or 4 or 5%, I think I could probably close closer to like 8, 9, 10, 12% of those customers if I could get in front of them, just based on, their buying habits. So that was one thing I wanted to share. So again, description, right audience, right keywords, understanding your kind of metrics there. And the other thing that I just stumbled across, like literally this weekend, was this website called Answer the Public, answerthepublic.com. And I'm going to show you what this does. So basically you can go in here, and these are searches I've done. So the first one I did was like entrepreneurship, right? Or just entrepreneur. So what this does is it scrapes, you can either have it scrape Google, Bing, YouTube, TikTok, Amazon, or Instagram. And it will literally do a live scrape to see, almost like what Google AdWords used to be. This is a much more sophisticated system, and it will literally tell you like the search volume of every single one and like the cost per clicks of every single search term that's related anywhere around that. So what it'll do is it'll break them up into categories. So let me see if I can do it. So like all these categories here are all who, right? So it takes the word entrepreneur and it says like who is an entrepreneur, or there's one that says like when. No, well, that's a terrible freaking one actually. What? This is actually a terrible example. I shouldn't have clicked on entrepreneur. But what I am going to click on is the data itself. So entrepreneur. Is it this one? It's so small. All right. Can you guys see this? Let me zoom in a bit. Is that a little better? Yeah, I think so. So basically, I exported all the data that it did, right? And what it does is it tells you the terminology, right? And then, like best book entrepreneur, and it tells you the search term. So in column G there, you see like the search volume, and then it tells you the cost per click. So what I did is I filtered all these to find the highest search volume and the lowest cost per click. So if I was going to do a paid marketing campaign, I'm not going to do it with key terms that are getting $12, $15, $30 a click, right? Because there are some that competitive. I'm going to look for ones that are similar in the area that I want around like entrepreneurship, like great entrepreneur books, right? If I paid 81 cents a click for leads that came through, like I could probably make a good return on that marketing budget if I could do that. And the search volume is high enough that I think I could get in front of the right people if I had the right content to put in front of them. So if I had like an ebook or something and I say, hey, here's a free ebook for entrepreneurs and entitle it Great Entrepreneur Ebook, download now for free. I get their email address. I put them into a campaign now where I'm pushing out my other content to them, content that I can actually monetize. So this website that I was showing you guys is a great tool to play around, and they have a free version. Like I have the paid version, but you can do the free version and it still gives you great insight. So just answerthepublic.com.
If you have a Google business account, you can also do that with like Google keywords as well. Because I had a friend of mine take a look at my website. Because this is what he does. He finds out the keywords and how to push people there and using it kind of like in a free way. And if you have a Google business account, in the settings, you can look up what words like cost pretty much. And like domains and stuff, but you can find like which keywords bring people to like, so if you put like, we'll use pizza delivery guy, it might have like delivering in Boston pizza, and it'll tell you like what keywords are most searched, and you can utilize that in your websites. So you get kind of free advertising just by using these keywords. Another thing that he told me is, AI, the way AI searches now is AI is looking for keywords as well. So you have to look for, he says, go on your, whatever you use, ChatGPT or Sora or whatever, and punch in, similar things to your business and see what keywords the AI is looking for as it's searching, because that's another free way to get more clicks on your website. So, yeah, I thought that in there.
Yeah, and actually, Jordan, we were talking about that for your own business, right? Of whether or not like you should post like your pricing online too, but AI bots scrape that. So if your competitor is not putting their pricing and you are, and somebody says, hey, what's the average cost for ground penetrating radar? Your company will come up with a note of where they got that lead source from, and it would bring them right to your website. So again, there's Google, there's Bing, there's all these other ones, but there's also voice search, things that you have to get in front of. There's AI scrapes you got to get in front of. So these are all things you need to consider when having a small business. But this was a cool tool. I just started playing around with it. I think it's awesome, just a way to, see exactly what are people asking, like exactly word for word what people are asking. And then I scrape it to see, hey, what's the biggest value for me right here? Which key terms are not going to cost me a ton to get in front of, but I'm still going to get in front of my audience, right? And then I can build my content around specifically that exact thing. So literally, I would have that title written out, and that's exactly the title of my advertisement, what it's going to be. So when people search that, it's literally word for word going to match my advertisement. And when they click on it, as soon as they click on the advertisement, I solve whatever that problem or answer that question specifically right in the first 3 seconds of that video. And then, offer something that is so easy, for them to say yes to, like a free downloadable, helpful guide on things to consider or something like that, just to get like one step further, not to close them, right? Because only 3% of your market in any market is at the actual buying stage right now. 60% of your market is either in like the, I know I have a problem phase and I'm just starting to look into it, or I'm actively trying to look for a solution. That's 60% of your market, but most people only focus on the 3% that is actively saying, if I can find a solution now, I'm buying it today, right? So this is a way to get in front of those other people, to get them in your pipeline, to get like those email addresses, to show them that you are the subject matter expert, to start engaging with them, to start closing those. So that way you're not just closing 3% of your funnel. You might be closing 10, 12, 15, 20% of your funnel if you're in front of them long enough and you position yourself in that way. And that's how businesses really strive. They don't fight for the little 3% of people ready to buy now, because those people, like, I'm sure we've all had them. If anybody's done sales, you make that one call and they just say, yep. And you're like, well, that was easy. Like, but those ones are so few and far between. They're so hard to find. So anyway, I just wanted to show that, a couple things that I've been working on. Again, I can show like the softwares and stuff that I use for editing and all that. Like, I try to keep my costs really, really low. There's nothing fancy here. And if something's not working for me, like, I'll test it out. If I'm not getting the ROI that I need for it, then I ditch it. But yeah. Oh, no, I can see Lewis. Nice. And you remind me so much of one of my buddies that I used to work on the recruiting command with. You look just like him.
He must have been a great guy.
He was a stud. Yeah, he was one of those guys that you hated initially because he was so good at his job, right? And then eventually you just had to take your hat off to him because he just out hustled and worked everybody. At first they're like, I must be doing something wrong. Ah, man, he's I don't know, he's scamming people, he's stealing from people, he's lying, he's cheating. He's like, no, he just outworked the shit out of you, and you have to respect it. Like, and he's still doing it now. Actually, he built one of my websites after he went back to school. He went to do like front and back end design work, and I was his first client when I launched one of the logistics companies. So he's doing well now. I was just talking to him the other day. Anywho, so happy to open the floor here, guys. If there's anything I stopped sharing, I don't know if you got any comments on that or just anything else in general. The floor is open here for anything. I don't know if the nonprofit model is the right model to do this under either. I know you mentioned like a GoFundMe, but technically anybody can do any sort of GoFundMe for anything. They don't even have to be an organization. They can be an individual. But when it comes to like raising money or, going to banks or investors or something like that, one of my facilities, I bought 100% pretty much with investor money and not any of my own cash. But that's only because I could offer them preferred returns, and a piece of cash flow. Not necessarily, you can't do that with a nonprofit structure. So sometimes it makes raising money harder. The other thing too, because manufacturing, like you're bringing up a great point, now is actually a really good time to tap into the technology of solar. It does have a great benefit. The technology's gotten to the point where it is becoming an asset, right? In certain areas. And with the whole Made in America push right now, there is a lot more funding from the government to start projects like this. Anything that brings energy back home, like even power plants now are starting to get the red tape released to where they can start to build, certain power plants again. So you can get funding from part in the government, part SBA loans, and part private equity to start doing projects like this, but you need a true business model attached to it if you really are going to want it to grow. And then the other thing that I'm thinking, and David, I'd like to hear your opinion on this, just as like a potential homeowner or veteran or something like that. But any potential concerns that somebody might have, like putting this on their home, like who's going to maintain it if it's there, like who's authorized to work on it, like what's the manufacturer, what's the difference between the cost of your roof versus the cost of just a traditional asphalt roof that is 30-year architect shingles, and where's the break even point as a homeowner? Like these are kind of answers you're going to need. All right. David, anything new in your business these last few weeks?
Just kind of chug along with different things, like getting my virtual address squared away. I because for all the marketing materials and so forth, I decided I don't want my personal home address to be on the face of the business, so I set up one of those virtual ones. And, just finished getting that done. I got my logo update. I tried to put it as a backdrop behind me, but for some reason my computer flips out whenever I try to do a background, so I left it off. But I do have I changed my logo. I've got one that's, the higher quality image, because I initially did a logo that I thought was really cool, that AI helped me generate. But then it was, fine as a JPEG, but it didn't meet the demanding needs for marketing purposes, where some of the materials needed a higher quality image. So I ended up getting a new one, and I actually like the new one better than the original one. So right now I'm working on getting some of that stuff together. I just got some equipment for my business. I think the last time, because I missed a week or two, so I don't recall the last time where I left it with you, but my similar to Daniel being able to go in a million different directions with your business and your ideas, I can go in so many different directions in the drone business. Now, my initial interest in the beginning was with the aerial shows, massive amounts of drones, which is still my ultimate goal, but I realize it's going to take a while to achieve that because of a higher need for capital to get into that area. So I'm focusing on the lower hanging fruit. And right now, the two lowest hanging business ideas with the drone area are real estate, aerial and video photography, and commercial businesses. So I'm getting my equipment. I've had the drone, but I just got some new some camera equipment for the real estate interiors, and some video camera equipment as well. So I have just about everything I need right now, and now I just need to start getting some face-to-face time and start getting my customers. I actually did some aerial footage of an event over the weekend for free. And so I provided that because I'm just trying to also just get my name out there and get people to see my work and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, your return on it's really your return on your time at this point, right? But being able to get real footage of a real event, even if it's not from a paying customer, is huge, because that's marketing material you can use on your website. Maybe you give it to them and just ask for a testimonial back, right? Yeah,
and that's one of my plans. Actually, my business plan is for the commercial businesses, I'm going to offer them a discount if they can provide me 3 referrals. So I'm going to try to get, one business. A lot of business owners know other business owners. I'm talking brick and mortar, because it doesn't work for a virtual business, but brick and mortar, a lot of restaurant owners know other restaurant owners or bar owners or so on and so forth. So I'm going to try to get referrals that way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking, so I just listed 2 of my self-storage facilities for sale. And I'm thinking, like, if I had your business, if I saw something for sale like that, like just driving by the side of the road, for sale commercial business, whip out the drone, take an aerial of it, do a little flyby, whatever, contact the broker or the owner and be like, hey, I just happened to be driving by, flew by, captured this on my thing. Do you think this is something that would be useful for you to market this property? And if they're like, oh, hell yeah, then you treat it almost like what the freaking schools do when the picture people come in for my kid's school. They don't even ask for permission anymore. They just take pictures of the kids. They email you the pictures, and they're like, do you want to buy a picture of your kid, or are you too cheap?
Right.
We don't even pay for the package ahead of time. But then once you see the picture, you feel guilty. So you're like, yeah, I'll buy it. So even though they didn't hire you to do it, it's still a way to generate sales. Because again, what does it cost you in time? They don't like it. You can either use it for your own material at some point if they say it's okay, or it's practice. Well, at least give me feedback. Like, what would you have liked to see? Oh, well, actually, if you were just a little further away, if you were able to capture this, or if you were able to. Okay, well, now you're getting feedback from a potential customer on what they would have liked to see, and then say, okay, well, if I did that, would you be interested in purchasing it? And then they'll start talking pricing, and then you'll start to bounce ideas off of, what would be a fair going rate, right? And just it starts a communication, but you can generate sales just from
another line here. Can you give me about 15 minutes and then call me back?
That's a great idea. It kind of it's funny because you remind me of when I was in Jamaica on my honeymoon with my ex-wife. That person comes up to us with these two little wooden statues and asks our name. We started carving our names into the statues. Then he wanted to sell them to us. So it's like, take the picture first, and then they were like, hey, that's my place. I want that.
Yeah, so we're gonna be like, and then your wife looks at you and he's like, "Hey, $5," and you're like, "No, you're not worth it, babe. Like this memento isn't worth $5." And then you feel bad because the dude just literally like, if you don't buy it, then what?
Right, exactly.
Oh, well, you could use the old one.
It's a brilliant sales strategy. Oh yeah,
you have the old one
that too, in a sense. I mean, it's not quite.
If you have the old one, you can use that.
There's something that whether if it's a realtor, it's like, hey, they want to sell it, right? The faster they sell it, and the more properties they list, and
Well, not only that, but the more value they could get. Like if they only have a still shot of something like my broker doesn't live in my area, right? Like he's not going to go out there and take new pictures. He only gets what we get, and I don't live anywhere near there either. If somebody came to us, right, and they were like, "Oh, by the way, I did a flyby. Look how nice your building looks.
Right.
Look at all this. Do you think this would help you sell it?" Because in my mind, I'm like, if I paid a couple $100 for something like that, but it could, get me better exposure or get me a higher number or get me more interested people to be like, oh, you know what? It didn't look good from that street view, but once you flew over and I saw the property, like, wow, like the roof looks like it's in good shape. So I don't have to worry about that. Right. I can see your acreage here. I can see like the street itself. I don't have to go look on Google, streets and go to see, is it a good traffic area? Like you showed me, like, hey, there's cars driving by, right? It's a busy intersection, that verifies like the street count or something, and then again, you get feedback.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. Well,
yeah.
Guess we're the last ones here.
Yeah. Which is fine. I want people to be able to come on and drop off. There's no commitment to anything here, but yeah, I mean, I really believe in the stuff I was saying earlier as far as the marketing stuff. And again, I test everything on myself first before I go offering advice to anybody for anything. Right. But yeah, I mean, some of these are, again, just doing small little things. Like I can take a 6-minute clip and make, 6 short videos and post like one every day out there. And each one, might only get 100 views, 200, 300, 400 views, but that's exposure I don't have and I don't have to pay for. Right. And it's getting my name out there and getting potential customers coming back. Like I can put the links in the description to go back to the website. And, the more it's out there, the more it generates, and it doesn't take any more of my time. Right. I just got to perfect the craft of social media.
Yeah. There's so much out there these days. On the one hand, it's very complex, but there's so much to actually make it easier with like AI assistance and stuff like that. And then the technology these days, it's just amazing that, not too many years ago, to get professional level equipment, it costs thousands and thousands of dollars. Today, for hundreds of dollars, you can get professional level equipment. It's crazy. Yeah.
Actually, now that you're here, I've been taking, I have an old iPhone. I'm one of those guys where like, I'll hold on till it dies. And this one's like just dying. Like I had the one I had before this one was an iPhone 4S. And I would have held on to that forever if I could have, but they just stopped updating the technology and it became ancient.
That's where I'm at with my computer. My Mac computer is like 15 years old. And I've been a number of years where I can't update the iOS on it anymore. So I'd like to get a new one. Even though there's nothing wrong with it, it's just old. Just like a phone,
Yeah. But so I've been using just like my camera here. I was using my phone, but again, because my phone is kind of ancient, this one's a 10R and or 10X or whatever. anyway, pretty ancient. So, I mean, camera wise, it's okay. Like it takes good stuff, but it won't like connect to my computer. My computer keeps kicking it out or doesn't recognize it, or it's not importing fast enough. And it's just not working. Like I can't record on this and then even direct connect and import it to my computer. Like it's just not working. So I'm looking for a better quality, even if it's a digital camera, like something I can record on that actually loads well to my computer. And something I could take with me, like wherever I am, if I'm in this room or if I'm down in my office or if I'm outside, like a decent camera that actually would work, because this is just kind of right, quality wise.
Right? Are you? How much are you? What's your budget range for what you're looking for?
I don't have a budget range. To me, it's really the return on investment. So if I feel it gives me a much better quality and that quality would result in more sales, then it's justified. So, I don't look, same thing with marketing. Like I never put a budget on marketing. It's, I find something in marketing that works and I work it till like, I find that one thing I'll spend money to try to figure out what works. Once I figure out what works, then I'll dump as much money as I can into it as long as I'm getting the ROI. Once I stop getting the ROI, then I stop the marketing and I try something else new. So I don't put budgets on stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you what I just got, which I highly recommend. It's kind of funny because you're doing a lot of stuff that you're learning as you're doing it, and you're recording and documenting and willing to share with other people to learn from. And you're making me think, man, I should do some of that with what I'm doing too, because I'm going through this whole process, learning stuff. So right now, what I'm about to share with you is something I'm in the process of learning, but I love it. It's a DJI makes some very great products. This is a little video camera. It's got a gimbal built in, so it's professional. It's hot HD quality, 4K, and with the little gimbal, it's like when you move it around, it keeps professional quality. It's got all kinds of cool settings. Now this is not
that exact one.
Oh, do you?
I have it's probably an older model because I bought mine years ago, but it looks just like that.
I didn't get the latest model because I'm on a budget. So this is the DJ Pocket 2. They've got the 3 now, so this isn't the newest one. It might be the same as yours.
But mine won't hold a charge anymore. It looks like it's charging, but it's not charging, so I can't even get it to power on anymore. I don't know what's going on, or maybe it's not the original cord. Maybe the cord got switched out with what I thought was a similar cord, but it's powering, like the light's coming on, but it's not holding a charge. So I can't literally turn it on.
That's weird. I wonder if the batteries are, there's any way, I know it's like internal, but I wonder if there's any places that can place the battery.
But I agree, like that for like a selfie kind of thing. It was great. I could walk with it. It stabilized itself.
So
it followed my head, so I could switch from hand to hand, and it would focus on my face. Or I could hit the button or double tap the button, and it flips around, and then I could pan out and see something else. But I mean the quality was great. I just couldn't.
They also made it. I don't know if yours was, but it's probably the same thing. You can also attach it to your phone just like this, so you can use the app on your phone to look at it on a bigger screen.
Yeah, it did. It has that little piece that flips around and slides back in. Yeah, I even tried to charge it like that to same thing. Like I wanted, could I get the images off of that? Because if I could get the images off of that, at least onto my phone, like I can upload it to YouTube Shorts, I can upload it to Instagram, from my phone. But the issue is like a lot of the editing I do is in software on my computer. Like I use like CapCut and some other ones, and actually the Microsoft the free Clipchamp is a very robust editing software that's completely free. It was already installed on my laptop when I bought it.
Oh wow!
And this Microsoft Clipchamp is great. Like I can put in images, import other videos on top of it. I can layer audio on it. Like it's what I used to use like OBS, like Studios. On my old computer, I had that installed, but this one's a lot more user-friendly, and there's a lot of videos on it. So I use that to do like the bulk of my editing, and then I put it into YouTube, and then I download it from YouTube because whatever reason, some other softwares, like the softwares that break them into shorts, like my CapCut, it likes the video output, not the MP4 that I normally get, but whatever the downloaded digital version is from YouTube. If I download it from YouTube, it likes that version better. So that's what I plug into that, and then it pulls out the shorts for me. Then I can literally just upload right from that software. It's connected to my YouTube account. It just posts it. But yeah, I think you should, film yourself, record yourself doing all these things, going through these decisions, because it could potentially be a market for you. Right. You could potentially have other people to be like, hey, I have a cookie cutter way of how to start your own photography business. And for $500, I'll give you the whole rundown of the checklist of what you need to do, how you can acquire customers, the products you need. And then like, hey, if you're going to buy this DJI, if you have an affiliation with them, like an affiliate program set up with them, they go buy the $300, $500 camera or whatever, right? And you go get a 10, 15, 20% cut of it.
Right.
And it could be another revenue stream for you with no other expense. So
Right.
it's 100% profit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you record yourself being the subject matter expert, put yourself in front of people like this. Like, this is what I told my stepmother is, because she does artwork. And I was like, if you just recommended the brushes that you use and record yourself like painting and say, you could get these same brushes here and send them a link where you get a kickback, like, why not? Like, you believe in the product, you use the product, you're not selling snake oil, right? Like, why not profit from it?
Right. Sure. Definitely.
Yeah. But I think it'd be great. I know a lot of people are scared to it. And I was guilty of the same thing where I don't want to show people that I'm new doing this. I want to, I don't want people to think like, I'm just a new company. I want to seem like I'm established, because they're not going to hire me if I'm new, whatever the case. But again, if you have good quality work, who cares when you formed your LLC or when you first started charging for it? If you're good at something or had a passion in something, I don't care how long you've been doing it, as long as you're reliable and you're a legit business,
Yeah.
But I think for the some people that you would scare away by admitting that you're new at doing it, I think you would gain at least as many, if not multiple times more, clients by just getting yourself out there.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
And some people, I think you're right. You probably lose some, but I think some people would like the fact because they're new, and it's like they want to follow somebody kind of that's also new, maybe, and kind of sees it from their own perspective or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or on the other hand, some people want to support someone and help them out just because they're new.
Actually, there's many case studies where that happened, where like people like were showing themselves like, hey, here's how I did this, here's how I grew, and over time, and then eventually they ended up like creating a book after a couple of years of putting out free content, and they create a book and they have all these sales. And when they call the people, they're like, yeah, you know what? I don't even care about reading the book. I've been following you for years. I just wanted a way to give back to you for giving me such great advice over the years. So I bought your product. It's like, I don't even intend on reading. I'll probably give it away. I already know everything that you put in the book. I've been watching you for 2 years, So I think people would just, work with you, or again, you develop that relationship. And if they potentially get a call and it's in your area, oh shoot, I know the guy in that area.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny because I already have a YouTube channel, but I've never used it for business or commercial purposes. When I used to be a teacher, I use it for my students. And so I actually started to have a little bit of following on but it was all educational videos and stuff like that for my students and some other educators.
Interesting.
Well, that's been defunct because the school closed down, but my old YouTube channel's still sitting out there with all my old videos and everything like that. But even back then, that was like 2 years ago when they closed the school. The technology in YouTube is amazing. Like it'll do captions for you and everything. Yeah. It's just amazing. It's translate to other languages. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's awesome. It's awesome.
But I have to start playing around with that again. See if I can monetize, because I had fun when I was doing it as a teacher. I used to dress up in historic costumes and make videos and stuff. And,
Well, not only that, but I'm sure I know there's other platforms too, where you can post either videos or still pictures or something. And if somebody likes the photo, if it's a good quality photo and they want to use it for their own website or whatever, there's royalties. Again, you're not going to get rich off doing it, but it gets your name out there a little bit, gets you a little more credibility or, whatever, or at least gets you practice on seeing what the market wants. Like, why did they like this photo?
Yeah, that's true. Cool. Well,
All right. Well, good. Well, good catching up. Yeah, this was an interesting one. Hopefully, you found value in it. If you need more links to those websites I was talking about, I can share them too. But it's just a way for me to try to understand like who my market is, what they're searching for, how can I get in front of them cheaper,
yeah,
you know,
I wrote
and
it down.
build content around it. Like, and for you, like again, if people are asking certain questions to Google, these are questions that they have. Like, how do I film my wedding? You know, how much does it cost to get a commercial, you know, photography done or a residential photography done, or, you know, what do I look for when I'm vetting somebody that's doing that type of service? And this is your opportunity to put your information out there
Yeah.
and give them free advice. And maybe they end up using your service or recommend you, or, you know, at least start liking and following what you do. So anyway.
Now, what is it? Does the free version have like limited number of search terms or something?
Yeah, so many searches a day is what it comes down to. And some of the data is hidden.
Oh, gotcha.
So like it's like $11 a month. Like these aren't services that, you know, you got to be rich to get into. Like all my services that I try, like my social media posting stuff and like these things, like they're cheap services. Like my CapCut, I think, is like $22 a month. This is like $11 a month. I just canceled my Loomly, which used to be where I would post all my stuff for social media for the month or for the quarter. But I just wasn't getting the return because I would still have to go in and format it differently for each one. And then, yeah, they were linked to my social, but I still had to manually kind of post them. But since like YouTube does long form and shorts, and I can post them both in the same area, you know, I don't have to worry about it. And I can schedule it out from the CapCut software that I use. I can literally schedule it right from that software to do it. And then like right now, like, you know, Instagram and Facebook, you know, it's Meta's encompassing both of them. So I can post them both from the same software. Like I could say, yep, post to Facebook, yep, post to Insta. You know, they're so overlapping. And then like the media that I put on like LinkedIn is completely different than the stuff I put on Instagram. So it's different content anyway. So I have to post that by itself anyway, or else it's not going to be formatted properly regardless. So I'm already posting them individually, so that platform just didn't make a lot of sense anymore.
This is years ago. I mean, I'm talking like, I don't know, 8 years ago, maybe. I don't know if this is still out there, but there was a program I used that helped me post my social media whatever business before. I think it was called Hootsuite, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that name sounds familiar. I haven't used it, but I definitely have heard of it.
That makes sense. That was a long time ago. If you're still around,
Yeah,
I mean,
I wonder. Yeah, it looks like they're still around. Yep. Yeah, it's interesting, but no, it's fun, but it's a game, right? It's, you know, how am I getting the interaction? How am I getting the shares? Am I hooking people fast enough? And then I realized like, oh shoot, I wasn't using the right like pictures and the thumbnails to attract the right people. Like I was too passive with some of my stuff, or I was putting content, but it wasn't linked back to anything, so I couldn't monetize it. And I'm not talking like even advertisement stuff. I just mean like it's not driving them to the traffic source I want to drive them to, right? Like even if the Instagram points them back to the YouTube page to subscribe, I put a lot of content out there and they can see links to, you know, like the Skool platform there. So